dialog boxes in JavaScript. This one we're gonna study JavaScript timers, how to time stuff on our screen using JavaScript. So for example, if we have a simple function here, and this function, let's just say my function, okay, let me keep this caps. So my function is here, and then we'll say alert something to us. So we use the alert, and we say hello. Okay, so with this alert we can simply have a button tag, and then with this button tag can have an on click, and this on click we use this timing for us. So we in here we can say set timeout, and with the timeout we need to call first the name of our function, which is going to take effect on it, and then maybe 2 milliseconds, and then that is 2000. So we say click, we say click me or something else, and what will happen is our alert pop-up will be displayed 2 seconds after clicking this button. So this here 2000 here is a millisecond, so 2 seconds. So let's try that on the screen. So I'm gonna click this. We need to have 2 seconds before the pop-up box shows and it says hello. I've clicked. Okay, so now it shows. I've clicked, now it shows. So this is a way of what? Timing in JavaScript. So let's say we want to execute a function at a regular interval. Regular interval means probably we can use a simple, a simple 1 second to do that. So let me have a function here. A function, I'm gonna use a different name. Let's say show time, and with show time, let's have a variable d, and with this we'll set this to new date. Hope you still remember the date time we talked about in our previous video. So we'll have document.get element by id, and then we're gonna get an id down there. So I will add this id, but we are going to get it inside an inner HTML tag, and then we'll set this to the date time, which is d. So the variable is equal to the new date time. Then we'll set it to local time string. Let's do local time string. Okay, and we have this here because okay. So after this, let me set the time interval first. So set interval. Now we'll call this here, which is show time here, and then we'll set the interval of 1 second. And so let's have a p tag here. P tag, and for this p tag we'll have the current current computer is, then we'll have a simple span here. Let's have a span tag here. And in the span tag, we're gonna have an ID, and this ID will be, let's give this ID clock. Yeah, so clock here, reference this ID in there, so we'll have clock here. Okay, so let's check on the screen. Now we have our current time displaying every second. So you see that it displayed in a second immediately we loaded the page. This one. So anytime I reload the page, it waits for a second, then the current date shows. Second, I reload, second, okay, I reload, a second, okay. So this is how we can simply, do a lot of timing in JavaScript. Okay, let's look at this example. We say how to cancel a timer with clearTimeout method. We have what we call the clearTimeout method. So this will help you to stop any timing you have in your code. Okay, let's see how we can simply implement that in our future code. So I'm gonna give a simple example. So we say let timeout let me see, let timeout let's say timeout okay, let's do two functions here. Let's have two functions here, and one we call it the delayed alert. That's one function, and here we'll have let me have this variable, let's call this timeout ID. Okay, and here in our function we'll say the timeout ID should be equal to set timeout, and then we have show alert. So show alert, but this one we are yet to create this function, which is the show alert here, and then we'll set that function to 2 seconds. So okay, then I'm going to create another function that will be the show function. So this one, show alert function here, and then here will be simply an alert displaying something in there. So let's say alert box. Okay, then let's have another function. This function will be the clear for us. That is the real clear timeout for this. So let's say here will be called clear alert, and we'll say clear timeout. Clear timeout, and then we call the ID at the top, which is the timeout ID. Okay, now let's have a button here, and this button will call the functions we've already defined at the top. So let me have a button here, and with the first button we're going to cause an click event to execute one of our function. So let's call this function first, the delay alert in here, delay alert, and then let's have a simple test here. Say show alert after 2 seconds. Show 2 seconds here. Then let's have another button, and this button we're simply gonna call the clear alert function here. Okay, and here we say cancel alert. Let's say cancel alert before it displays. Okay, so let's try this real quick. We have show alert after 2 seconds, so I click 1 second, 2. Okay, alert box. Then this is the cancel alert. So when I click on this, I reload the whole page. I click on this, I can click on this to stop the display. I click on this one, and then 1, 2, 3, then I click on this. There's no display because this clear method is actually working now. But if I click this only, it's gonna display. Okay, so I click again and I click this, nothing display. So that means this clear alert function is stopping this alert box to show before the 2 second time frame. So this is a real example of how we use alert box, and then alert box with timing, and then also how to clear the timing from our code using a button, and we can dynamically set this as well. Okay, so we're gonna create a simple timer with the clearInterval showing on the screen. So JavaScript cancel a timer with a clearInterval method. Okay, so let's say we're gonna have a star here, but before that, let me see where to start from. So instead of timeout here, let me start everything. Okay, so let's say we want to have a variable of what? Interval. Just like what we declared first before. Then now we'll have a function, and this function will be called a show, the same as the show time as before, but let's have this. No. Okay, so here we'll be having a date to show, and then will be showing, let me see. So let's say we have a variable d, and then we set that to a new date time, and it's an object, so I got this in front. Then we have let's have a document dot write, and with it, oh no, let's do document dot get element by id, and we'll get that id real quick, but just like what we did in the first one. Yeah, let's use clock. We'll use the id as clock in the next one. So clock, then we're gonna get from an inner HTML, which we are yet to write that soon. Then we will say e.to local what, to local date string, and then we have this. Okay, so now what we'll do is to have our time interval set before I write the HTML here. So let's call the interval id and then set it to our time. So set interval, and then first I'll call this function here only the name, and then the interval will do 1 second. So okay, now let me declare, let me have a p tag here, and with this p tag we're just gonna show the date using the id we have. So let's say in here we say the current time on your computer is okay. Then we'll have a span tag just like what we did first, and inside the span tag we'll have our id here. So id, and it's gonna be clock. Okay, now we have our id set. Let's add a function to do the stop clock. Okay, so repeat another function, and then here we change it to stop clock, and in here we're gonna have our clearInterval, the one we just used, clearInterval, and then we call our interval id here. Okay, I might close this. All right, let's see what we got on the screen. Okay, we got this. Now we want this one to show a little bit better using a style sheet in here, where we're gonna display our time really well on the screen. So I'm gonna add a style here, and this style will be geared toward our id, means it will be applied to the id. So the id is clock. Let me have the style tag here first, style, and then I have it here, and in here let's target our id clock. With clock, let me see. Clock. Let's first have a background for our clock, and let's set to black, background to black, and then let's have the color. We're gonna have the color of the display inside the display of the numbers of the clock. So let me call color for that. Let me use color for that, which is lame. Yes, okay. And then let's have a block display. So display, I have mastering CSS in my video playlist, so you can check mastering CSS and you know how to apply this CSS just by learning one project. Okay, so this display is gonna be a block display, and then I'll have font. Let me have a font of the display to, let's do 48 pixels, and let's do monospace, so it looks like a real countdown. Well, let me add padding around our display, so let me have a padding, not auto. I'm gonna set the padding to 20 pixels. Then let me have a margin around that too, and I'm gonna set the margin to 20. Let me do 20 pixels, and then a 0 on the side. Check my mastering CSS in my playlist, and you're gonna learn CSS in just one video. Okay, so let's load this on the screen. Great. So we have this one in here. Let me load again. Let's wait for a millisecond, another second, and another second before it